everyone, this is Pat Mesiti live at 5, the No Grey Zone. And today I'm sitting down and being a student. I'm sitting at the feet of what I call a great master teacher, an insightful guy, contributor to Spectator magazine, host of the James McPherson show on the Good Source podcast channel. Incredible mind, incredible insightful, great with satire and humor, telling us about what's going on in our world. Ladies and gentlemen, my great friend, James McPherson. Over to you, James.
Thanks, Pat. Well, let me give you the latest news. White young people who stole flat screen televisions from an electrical store during recent Black Lives Matter protests will be charged with theft for having dreadlocks. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said cultural appropriation was a serious crime for which the city had zero tolerance. White looters found with dreadlocks will be charged, she warned. That hairstyle is not theirs to take. Cultural appropriation is more damaging than looting because property can be replaced, but your identity cannot. She said police would use CCTV footage to identify white looters who were listening to rap music while ransacking an Apple store. You don't see black looters listening to country music, do you? An enraged mayor told local media. So what gives white rioters the idea they can take iPhones and iPads and laptops in a smash and grab while listening to music that doesn't belong to them? BLM co-founder Patrice Colors Me Crazy scoffed at business owners who complained that looters should be charged for stealing property. Hey, it's only stuff, Miss Colors Me Crazy said before telling a crowd of angry protesters the source of all social disorder is inequality of stuff. Ms. Colors Me Crazy urged police to do more to stop white protesters calling each other the N-word while setting fire to local businesses. People should not be allowed to use such hurty words while smashing up the town, she said. And besides, these white rioters wouldn't even know what the N-word was if they hadn't been listening to our music in the first place. She was particularly critical of protesters who used the wrong pronoun for a transgendered woman they pelted with rocks for wearing a MAGA hat. It was clearly wrong to yell, "Kill him." The correct pronoun was her. And if they were unsure, they should have just screamed, "Kill the bastard," Ms. Colors Me Crazy said. Let me be absolutely clear. Ascribing the wrong pronoun to the person you're beating unconscious is a microaggression that the Black Lives Matter movement does not endorse. Mayor Lightfoot urged arsonists to find appropriate, culturally sensitive words to shout while burning the city to the ground. She said, F the police, defund the police, or even death to America were good options. She said, and I quote, "What we will not tolerate are those people who beat small business owners with lumps of timber or who throw Molotov cocktails at police cars whilst saying nothing. Silence is violence." Meanwhile, claims that damage in Kenosha was done by people from outside the community have been confirmed by police who arrested rioters from 44 different cities. Local Democrats were delighted at the news, explaining to local residents who were cowering in their homes, diversity is our strength. Well, world leaders stole her childhood and now coronavirus has stolen her crisis. So there's nothing left for activist Greta Thunberg but to go back to school. The teen campaigner dubbed the Goblin of Doom for her incessant warnings that carbon emissions are about to destroy the earth has spent the past year circling the globe, lecturing world leaders and organising protests. But the same country that was exhaling a good portion of those emissions suddenly coughed up a flu bug that really did change the environment. The Chinese flu has now made travel all but impossible. World leaders are suddenly preoccupied with an actual problem, and mass gatherings to protest a naturally occurring gas are banned for fear of contracting an unnaturally occurring virus. Moreover, the great COVID-19 lockdown of 2020 has given the world a glimpse of the new normal should Greta realise her net zero emissions dream, and no one likes it. So, last year's Time magazine Person of the Year suddenly has a lot of free time on her sanitised hands. She tweeted last week, "My gap year from school is over, and it feels so great to finally be back in school again." Well, I think we can all say amen to that, though sadly for the left, it leaves them looking for a new child from which to take their cues. 11 months ago, Greta was skipping class to scold world leaders at the United Nations. "You've stolen my dreams and my childhood. How dare you?" Watching world leaders grovel as the pigtailed Swedish schoolgirl staged a hissy fit from the UN Assembly podium was cringeworthy, and yet Morbidly fascinating. For all her faults, she at least got to sneer, "How dare you," at UN leaders. Well, I wouldn't give to do that, along with about 9 million Israelis, I suspect, but I digress. Nothing better highlighted the hysteria and hypocrisy of warmists than world leaders inviting a kid to hector them about public policy and saving the planet. The same people who dismissed anyone expressing doubt about climate change with shouts of, "But you're not a climate scientist," suddenly changed their retort to, "But you're not a climate scientist or a Swedish schoolgirl with fiery visions." The only thing more absurd than Greta being put front and centre on the world stage was the amount of media coverage her every utterance on the weather was given. "I shouldn't be up here," Greta complained at the United Nations last September. "I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean." Well, indeed. And now, thanks not to global warming, but to global Wuhaning, she is. There you go.
James, you're brilliant. I don't know how you do that. And look, our audience, I know, will have enjoyed that. Guys, listen, press like and subscribe to our channel. Share the message out. Make sure, listen, get a hold of James' podcast on The Good Source. I listen to it and it's brilliant. James, the world really has gone crazy. I mean, we went from Greta to Wahoo to BLM to now what's even scaring me even more is Joe Biden. And I cringe. I had to laugh, just for our viewers. I had to laugh, and I was moved by your monologue on Kevin Rudd and that caricature that was drawn, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And for those of our viewers, I know that's on one of your podcasts. Where could they find that? Because it was just so brilliant. I think it was on.
Yeah, I think it was episode.
I thought it was number 7 or 8. But anyway, guys, go there. Just get everything, download it, listen to James, follow him. And I think you're writing a book. Is that right, James? There's a book in the pipeline?
Yeah, it's at some point soon.
At some point soon. I probably said something I shouldn't have said then, but forget it. He's not writing a book. All right. But James, always a great privilege to talk to you and to listen to your insight. God bless you and thank you.
Thanks, Pat. It's nice to catch up.